Role models are key figures we aspire to be, and although we bleed the same, that's who we dream to be. Heroes, coaches, parents, or our teachers, when we see them in action, we just want to be a feature. But as we grow older, the younger will aspire to be you. So I'm telling you what's important so you can be a great role model too. Starting now! Hey yo! What's good, everybody? Today's topic, role models. Role models can come in many different sizes and shapes, and regardless of who they are, what they do makes them great. So as the old ages out and we enter in as the new, today's focus is exactly what we're supposed to do. So now that we're live, let's dive! Point number one, purpose. Role models. They're models that play a role in everybody's lives. And depending on who we choose, it can either hinder or allow us to strive. These models are very impactful and can even dictate what we do. So it's imperative that we understand the magnitude for both me and for you. So first is our morals. They impact our internal beliefs because what our role models value, we often tend to see. Honesty, courage, respect, and responsibility. Although they're commonalities, most people tend to avoid them with agility. Do not steal, do not kill, do not litter, and do not lie. We will want these reciprocated, but most of the world will find a reason to defy. That's because innately we're selfish with the focus of I, myself, and me. And although we would get angry when other people do these things to us, we still don't act like a team. This is when role models are crucial, because they're at the forefront of what we decide. And even though they may be aware, they determine the next generation creates unity or makes a bigger divide. Myself versus teamwork, and greed versus generosity. Role models have the power to steer our curiosity. So then lastly is appearance and perception. After all, we saw them first. Since our society is based on sight, our stereotypes are either confirmed or put in reverse. We as a society have a preconceived notion of how people act and who we trust based on how they appear. So us as role models have the power to either validate or make them disappear. How we dress, how we act, our hygiene, and us overall. While these things may appear obvious, our society positions us to fall. Stereotypes are formed when the same group of people share a similar action. But when we continuously put ourselves in a box, we don't increase. It only leads to subtraction. Sagging, mean mugging, cussing, or acting cool. Why do you think you're getting praised? Everybody's secretly calling you a fool. None of these actions are beneficial in business or even in a fight because our words demonstrate our intellect, they're irrelevant in action, and you have to pull up your pants every 3 seconds so someone doesn't knock out your lights. There's no plus, no positives, and no benefits, just nothing good. So it's imperative that role models act accordingly so our actions, not our looks, are understood. So now that we've broken down the primary purpose and the meaning, next, I'll dive into why the words we use must be uplifting and not demeaning. Point number 2, words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Although they may be true from afar, there's a reason they raise an alert. Words are super impactful and emotionally powerful because they impact our brain. And although it's not physically harmful, we'd sometimes rather get hit by a train. A role model can affect the next generation so much just by how they use their mouth. So it's imperative that when we speak, we choose the right words to shout. When we're passively speaking, we're usually unaware of our surroundings. But if we took a step back and looked, the number of people we see would be astounding. At the gym, in the car, at school, or in the park, while you only see your peers, many more can hear your remarks. For example, you can't say cuss words are bad if you use them in your speech, because the hypocrisy you use is exactly what you teach. If someone cuts you off, you'll still reach your destination, but if you get frustrated, your kids will mimic your frustration. If you get upset out in public because something doesn't go your way, everybody's staring at you and the kids are wondering if what you're doing is okay. The list of examples are endless, but how we respond should be the same, because when positivity is at the forefront, we shift ourselves into a new frame. Instead of frustration is forgiveness, and instead of the moment we see the bigger picture. And if we speak without cussing, the next generation will only become richer. Positivity only spawns growth, even if you're watching from afar. And the impact is even greater up close, so you'll either uplift or end up leaving a scar. The key is our mindset. When we're frustrated with someone, how we speak to them is crucial, because if we speak only with our emotions, that outcome is bound to be brutal. Saying you're weak, you're dumb, you're soft, or you're bad, instead of addressing the issue, you're just making them sad. When we lash out at someone, especially younger, we diminish their ego and diminish their belief. Now, instead of getting the better result we desire, we shattered their whole mystique. They only end up being a fraction of what they could become. So instead of dejecting, we as role models need to make them better under the sun. Let's encourage, uplift, tell them they're strong and tell them they're great. And although they may struggle at something, let's break it down so they can lift the weight. As a role model, we need to encourage everybody, and especially the next generation, because if we can positively impact everybody, only love will spread in every nation. So now that we understand the impact of our voice in every interaction, let's go over how our actions must reciprocate to avoid any distraction. Point number 3, actions. Purpose, words, actions. Thought, speak, do. Regardless of the phrase, we must follow this through. Words are great because they're generally at the forefront of what we believe, but in order to garner respect, we must follow this through to achieve. It begins with your personal actions. What do you do when it only affects you? Because how you respond to what's right in front of you will transfer into everything else you do. When you see trash, do you leave it on the ground or do you pick it up? Because nobody likes trash on their floor, so we should treat the world as such. Do you hold the elevator door open, or are you quick to press door close? Because those 3 extra seconds for you is much longer for the person you opposed. When you're running drills, do you touch the line or do you stop just a little bit before? Even though you may get away with it, you're only hindering yourself from doing more. Our action can be just about ourselves, selfishness, and laziness to our world. But if the people we looked up to did the opposite, our minds would slowly begin to twirl. Clean, assist, and integrity would exist through the right actions. When our role models do the little things personally, it creates a chain reaction. And the same thing applies to helping others too, because how our role models interact with others impacts us to think of something new. When we give advice, are we saying one thing but doing something different? Because if I tell a kid don't do drugs, but they see me smoking, wouldn't they become indifferent? When an elderly person needs assistance, do you help them cross the road or keep walking by? Because although they may not ask you for help, you'll ignore them so you don't have to give a reply. And when you promise someone you'll do something, do you follow through? Because even though you gave someone your word, since you don't value this moment as highly, you'll just do what you want to do. These actions directly impacted other individuals. And when we act selfishly, we don't inspire growth, we remain individual. A great role model bridges the gap of division by establishing a path of hope, integrity, and trust. This is why it's so imperative that role models understand the significance of their roles. It's a must. Do, help, and act as you preach. So when people look up to us, there are no doubts about what we teach. So in a world where we see people in all of our walks of life, we, as the next generation's role models, must act accordingly so our society unifies and strives. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more, please feel free to check out the channel and subscribe because there's more in store. From one witness to another, you are special. Hook out.